I've always believed that the truest friendships are the ones that survive everything. 35 years to be exact. 35 years with Linda, the woman I'd stood beside through 2 divorces, her bankruptcy, her mother's death, and every crisis in between. But as I discovered one rainy Thursday afternoon in October, loyalty is just another word we use when we're too naive to see the knife being sharpened behind our backs. My name is Katherine Westbrook, and at 62, I'd built something I was genuinely proud of. CW Designs, a boutique fashion accessories brand that had grown from my kitchen table into a $15 million business. We sold handbags, scarves, jewelry, the kind of elegant pieces that Manhattan women bought for themselves, not just for special occasions. I'd started it with my own money, my own vision, and 20 years of 16-hour days. Marcus Chen had been my business partner for the last decade. I provided the capital and creative direction. He handled operations, manufacturing, retail relationships. It was a perfect arrangement, or so I thought. He was brilliant with numbers, ruthless with vendors, everything I wasn't. I trusted him completely, which was my first mistake. Linda Sullivan had been my best friend since we were 27, working together at Macy's corporate offices. We'd been through everything together. When her second husband left her 3 years ago, broke and bitter, I did what any good friend would do. I hired her as our marketing director. $60,000 a year, full benefits, an office with windows overlooking Spring Street. She cried when I offered it to her, said I'd saved her life. That Thursday, I'd left the office early for a routine doctor's appointment. Traffic was worse than expected, and the doctor was running behind. By the time I finished, it was after 6. I decided to stop back at the office to grab some design sketches I needed to review over the weekend. The building was quiet. Most of the staff had left by 5:30. I took the elevator to the 4th floor, already thinking about the glass of Chardonnay waiting for me at home. That's when I heard voices coming from the conference room. The door was slightly ajar, and through the gap, I could see Linda and Marcus sitting at the table, papers spread between them. I was about to walk in and say hello when I heard Marcus say, "So we're agreed. We push her out by January." I froze. Linda's voice came next, casual, almost cheerful. "She'll never see it coming. Katherine's too trusting. She actually believes we're grateful." My hand went to the wall to steady myself. "The clients already prefer dealing with me anyway," Marcus continued. "And you've been building relationships with the press. Once we have her signature on the sale documents, we can rebrand without her. Katherine Westbrook Designs becomes Chen Sullivan Luxury. Clean break." "What about the non-compete?" Linda asked. "Buried in the sale agreement," Marcus said. "She'll think she's selling us shares at fair market value. By the time she realizes she's signing away her right to work in fashion for 5 years, it'll be too late. Her lawyer is that semi-retired guy in Connecticut, right? He won't catch it." Linda actually laughed. "Poor Katherine. She's been ready to slow down anyway. We're doing her a favor. Really. She can finally take that extended vacation she's always talking about. By the time she comes back, we'll own everything." Marcus added, "The spring collection launches in March. If we time this right, we can announce new ownership right after. Fresh vision, new leadership. The press will eat it up." "And what about the money?" Linda asked. "I need to make sure I'm getting equal partnership, not just a share. 50/50ths. Marcus nodded. "Once Katherine's out, I'm not working this hard to have anyone else calling the shots. We'll lowball her on the valuation. Tell her the company's worth $10 million, not $15. She doesn't look at the books anymore. She'll believe whatever we tell her." I don't remember walking away. I don't remember getting to the elevator or driving home to my brownstone in Chelsea. But I remember sitting in my living room, hands shaking, staring at the skyline, and feeling something cold and sharp crystallizing inside me. I'd given Linda a job when she had nothing. I treated Marcus like family, invited him to holiday dinners, celebrated his daughter's college graduation, and they were planning to steal everything I'd built. But here's what Linda and Marcus didn't know about me. Before I started CW Designs, I'd spent 15 years as a contracts attorney for a major fashion house. I knew every trick, every loophole, every way to protect intellectual property and business interests. I'd stopped practicing law to start my company, but I'd never stopped thinking like a lawyer. That night I didn't cry. I didn't call anyone. I didn't even have that glass of wine. Instead, I opened my laptop and started taking notes. Every word, every detail with timestamps. Then I started thinking about what they didn't know. They didn't know that I'd been considering updating our corporate structure for tax purposes and had already consulted with a new attorney, Sarah Park, one of the best corporate litigators in Manhattan, who'd been waiting for me to decide whether to move forward. They didn't know that I'd been quietly documenting everything for months. Not because I suspected anything, but because my accountant had suggested keeping better records as we approached the company's 20-year anniversary. Every contract, every client relationship, every design that had originated with me documented, timestamped, and backed up. They didn't know that the semi-retired lawyer in Connecticut Marcus mentioned was actually my old law school roommate, who now did consulting work for fun. He was sharp, thorough, and definitely not careless. They didn't know that I still owned 70% of the company. Marcus had been granted equity over the years, but it was performance-based, tied to milestones that hadn't actually been hit. He thought he owned 30%. He actually owned 18%. My procrastination in updating the records was now my saving grace. The next morning, I went to the office as usual. I smiled at Linda as she brought me coffee, thanked Marcus when he updated me on fall sales numbers. I played the part of the slightly tired founder ready to step back. That afternoon I called Sarah Park. "I need an hour of your time," I said. "And bring your entire team." We met in her Midtown office. I laid out everything, the conversation I'd overheard, the documents I'd been keeping, the corporate structure they clearly didn't understand, and my plan. Sarah listened, made notes, then smiled. "Katherine, this is actually straightforward. They're planning to commit fraud. We document everything, let them make the first move, then hit them with both barrels. But I have a better idea, something more educational." "I'm listening," I said. Over the next 2 weeks I played my part perfectly. I mentioned to Marcus that I was tired, thinking about my legacy. I told Linda over lunch I was considering selling some shares, simplifying my life. I watched their excitement, trying to hide it. "You know," Marcus said carefully, "if you ever wanted to discuss options, I'd be interested in buying more equity. Keep it in the family, so to speak." "That's sweet of you," I said. "Let me think about it." Behind the scenes, Sarah's team worked. Forensic accountants scrutinizing every transaction Marcus approved, private investigators documenting Linda's lunch meetings with our biggest retail clients, meetings I wasn't invited to. Every move they made was being recorded and backed by a paper trail that would make their intentions undeniable. Then, on a Monday morning in November, I called a special board meeting. Our board had only 3 members. Me, Marcus, and my daughter Jessica, who lived in California and rarely attended in person. But today Jessica flew in. I invited Linda too, telling her I wanted her perspective as marketing director. They arrived to find not just me and Jessica, but Sarah Park, 2 other attorneys, and someone they'd never met, Thomas Brennan, a forensic accountant specializing in partnership disputes. The confusion on their faces was almost satisfying. Almost. "Thank you all for coming," I said, taking my seat at the head of the table. The same table where 6 weeks ago they plotted to steal my company. "We have some important matters to discuss." Marcus recovered first. "Katherine, what's going on? You didn't mention attorneys would be here, did I? How careless of me." "Linda, Marcus, please sit down," I said. They sat. Linda was pale, always the nervous one. "I want to start by thanking you both," I continued. "Marcus, you've been my partner for 10 years. Linda, my friend for 35. Those are significant relationships, which makes what I'm about to say particularly difficult." I slid a folder across the table to each of them. They opened them slowly. "These are transcripts," I explained, "of a conversation that took place in this very room on October 19th. A conversation about pushing me out of my own company, stealing my clients, tricking me into signing a non-compete, and undervaluing my business by $5 million. The blood drained from Marcus's face. "That's not," Linda started. "Please don't insult me with lies," I said quietly. "I heard every word. And before you ask, yes, I also recorded it on my phone. New York is a one-party consent state. That recording is completely legal." Sarah spoke up. "Ms. Westbrook has also retained my firm to conduct a comprehensive review of all business operations. We found several interesting discrepancies." She nodded to Thomas, who opened his laptop. Mr. Chen, you've been approving payments to several vendors who don't actually exist. The money has been going to offshore accounts, approximately $400,000 over the past 2 years. Miss Sullivan, you've been accepting payments from retailers in exchange for premium placement of their products in our marketing materials. These payments weren't disclosed to the company. Another $200,000. The room was completely silent. That's embezzlement, I said. And fraud and breach of fiduciary duty. The list goes on. Katherine, please, Linda's voice broke. I needed the money. After the divorce, I was drowning. You don't understand. I gave you a job, I said. For the first time, my voice wasn't calm. I gave you a salary, benefits, a purpose, and you repaid me by plotting to steal my company and accepting bribes. I turned to Marcus. And you? I made you a partner, gave you equity, trusted you with my life's work. He said nothing, just stared at the table. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. You're both going to resign effective immediately. You'll sign documents acknowledging your misconduct and agreeing to return every penny you stole. Marcus, your equity reverts to the company. Linda, you'll repay the bribes or face criminal charges. Both of you will sign non-disparagement agreements and comprehensive non-competes. You won't work in fashion in any capacity for 10 years. We can't agree to that, Marcus said. Those terms are unreasonable. Sarah smiled, not a nice smile. Would you prefer we involve the district attorney? Miss Westbrook has been very clear. She's offering you a choice. Take responsibility privately, make restitution and walk away, or we go public with everything, file criminal complaints and sue you into bankruptcy. Your choice. You have until 5 p.m. today. Linda was crying now. Katherine, please. 35 years of friendship. Friendship. I looked at her. Really looked at her. You called me poor Katherine. Said I was too trusting. Laughed about stealing my company. That's not friendship, Linda. I don't know what it is, but it's not friendship. By 4 p.m., they signed the papers, both pale and silent, signing away their rights and agreeing to repayment plans for restitution. Marcus's equity, which he thought was worth over $4 million, disappeared. Linda's reputation was protected only by her signature on a non-disclosure agreement. When they left, escorted by building security to clear out their offices, Jessica hugged me. Mom, I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry, I said. Be smart. This is what I'm teaching you. Trust but verify. Love people but protect yourself. And never, ever assume loyalty is guaranteed just because you've given someone everything. Over the next 6 months, I rebuilt CW Designs from the ground up. I hired a new COO, a woman I'd known professionally for years, and promoted several loyal, talented junior staff members who had long been overlooked. We restructured the company, strengthened protections, and implemented better oversight. No more blind trust. Every transaction, every contract, every client relationship had a layer of accountability. Linda tried to contact me twice. I didn't respond. Marcus sent an email apologizing. I deleted it after reading only the first line. Some betrayals don't deserve forgiveness, they deserve consequences. Without Marcus's embezzling and Linda's side deals, profits increased 30%. I hired a marketing firm that understood our brand and brought in a CFO who caught inefficiencies Marcus had deliberately overlooked. The company flourished. I was 63 now. CW Designs had celebrated its 21st anniversary. I still went to the office 4 days a week, still designed new pieces, still loved what I did, but now I did it smarter with better contracts, better oversight, and clear boundaries. Did I regret how I handled it? Not for a moment. I could have confronted them emotionally, called them crying, let them see how much they'd hurt me. But I'd learned something as an attorney and business owner. Emotion is a weapon people use against you. Strategy is the weapon you use to protect yourself. People ask if I miss Linda, if 35 years of friendship counted for nothing. My answer: I don't miss the woman she became. I miss the woman I thought she was, but that woman never really existed. Marcus, last I heard, was working as a consultant for a textile company in New Jersey, earning a fraction of what he used to make, living in a modest apartment instead of his old Tribeca penthouse. Linda moved to Florida, working retail at a department store. Not the career she'd imagined, but the one her choices earned her. As for me, I still live in my brownstone in Chelsea, still have my company, my reputation, and my dignity intact. I have my daughter, my real friends, and the satisfaction of knowing that when someone tried to take everything from me, I didn't just survive, I won. That Thursday afternoon when I overheard them plotting wasn't the worst day of my life. It was the day I stopped being naive. The day I remembered who I was before trust made me soft. The day I learned that the most important person to protect is yourself, and the most powerful weapon you have is the one they don't expect, your own intelligence. I still design handbags, create beautiful things, and believe in hard work and integrity, but with my eyes wide open. Trust isn't a weakness unless you let it blind you. Loyalty isn't automatic just because you've given someone everything. The people who truly deserve your trust are the ones who never make you question it. Everyone else? They're just characters in a story, waiting for their turn to show who they really are. And when they do, believe them the first time and act accordingly. Sitting in my office that afternoon, I finally allowed myself a quiet moment to reflect. CW Designs wasn't just a business, it was a testament to every choice I'd made, every risk I'd taken, every late night and early morning I'd poured into something I loved. I realized something important. The world doesn't reward trust blindly. It rewards preparation, intelligence, and the courage to act when others are blind to the truth. I had learned the hard way that loyalty can be a lie people tell to manipulate you, and that the sharpest edge of betrayal often comes from the people you love most. But I also learned that strength isn't just in fighting back. It's in building a life where betrayal can't destroy you. Systems, boundaries, oversight, these were my armor now, not bitterness. I could still care about people, still value friendship, still love, but I would never again allow myself to be vulnerable without foresight. I thought about the younger version of myself, the naive, trusting attorney who left a secure career to follow a dream. She would have crumbled under this betrayal. But Katherine Westbrook of today? She survived, she fought, and she won. And in that victory she found clarity. Intelligence and strategy, combined with integrity, are more powerful than loyalty without limits. As I looked around my office, the light of late afternoon falling on sketches of the next season's designs, I smiled. Not because I'd punished them, but because I had protected what mattered most: myself, my family, my company, and my dignity. And that, I realized, was the real definition of success. The months that followed were a masterclass in rebuilding with intention. I hired a new COO, someone whose loyalty and competence were proven, and promoted talented junior staff who had long deserved recognition. Every contract was reviewed, every relationship double-checked. CW Designs wasn't just surviving, it was thriving, stronger than ever because the weak links had been removed. I didn't respond to Linda's calls. I deleted Marcus' apology email unread. Some betrayals aren't lessons, they're consequences. And consequences, when applied fairly, can teach more than any conversation ever could. The spring collection launched to critical acclaim. Without embezzlement, without secret side deals, profits soared by 30%. For the first time in years, I felt the full satisfaction of success. Not just surviving betrayal, but turning it into growth, into strategy, into art. I still live in my brownstone in Chelsea, still oversee every new design, still mentor my team with eyes wide open. But I do it smarter now, with boundaries, with oversight, and with a deep understanding that trust is earned, not assumed. I often get asked if I miss Linda, if 35 years of friendship counted for nothing. My answer is always the same. I don't miss the woman she became. I miss the woman I thought she was. But that woman never existed. I was too trusting to see the truth. Marcus. Last I heard, he was consulting for a textile company in New Jersey, living modestly, far from the penthouse he once called home. Linda moved to Florida, working retail at a department store. Her choices caught up with her. As for me, I still have CW Designs, my reputation, my dignity, and my daughter. I still create, still design, still love what I do, but now I do it with strategy, foresight, and eyes wide open. Trust isn't weakness unless it blinds you. Loyalty isn't guaranteed just because you've given someone everything. The people who truly deserve it never make you question it. Everyone else? They're just characters in your story, waiting to show their true colors. And when they do, believe them immediately, and act accordingly.